And my escape button's not working. Let's see. Nope. Let me do one other thing. Hang on a second.
Yep.
So you can still see me, right?
Yep.
Okay, we got that going for us.
No, we're starting a bit late.
Thank you.
Wow, I don't know what's happened to my web browser, but it is just slow to a crawl.
We have one person connected right now.
Yeah, we haven't brought Gordon in. We're trying to get this sorted out. Cool.
Okay. Is it appearing that Skype's the issue or your web browser?
I don't know. The browser is just really slow. I'm clicking in the address bar and it's just taking forever to recognize that I'm clicking on it.
Oh.
Tell you what, I'm going to disconnect from Skype and I will call you right back.
Sounds good.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Her web browser, I think she's just restarting.
Okay.
Computer's running stupid slow.
Sorry guys, we got hit outside this morning, just outside, so
Okay.
everything's a little bit behind. Don't have a bumper left, but we should.
I'm Gwen, by the way.
Nice to meet you.
Hello, I'm your on-site IMS.
Oh, good. So are we logged into? Yeah, we're logged into my account.
Yep.
So Gord's going first. He's not there yet, or
He called it. Everyone called in at 9.
okay?
I'll let them know we were delayed. So they just need to be called back, got back on the conference.
We may as well get him waiting, eh?
Yeah.
Sorry, what's your name?
Gwen. David. Oh.
David.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you guys.
Oh, nice to meet you. I didn't see you around yesterday. You were here though, eh?
Well, I showed up at like 4:30.
Oh, okay.
Didn't
Just
really
at the
get a chance
end.
to come on down, yeah.
Hi, Gord, are you there? I wonder if he knows that he's watching. This is conference room 1.
Oh no, he's not actually on the call yet. We have to call him.
Oh, okay. Well, I just said hi.
Okay.
Somebody said he called in though a while ago.
Yeah, but call ended.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, okay.
you'll have to restart a call.
Well, with the video.
Video call.
Yeah, hi, I'm here, Kathy.
Hi, Gord. Sorry
Hi.
you got up earlier than you needed to. People are
Alright.
just trickling in. Things are a little delayed. I was in a fender bender outside, and there's some trouble getting streaming up and running. So you can watch the session on www.com Media Converge.
Yeah, I'm on there, actually.
You're on there? Okay.
Okay. So, when...
Probably within a minute or two.
Okay.
We may as
Am
well
I
just
up
keep.
first, or...
Yeah, you're first if you're okay with that.
Sure, yeah.
Because the other people on the call are Donna Manacci from Fairfax County, so she's also a Skype. So we
Okay.
thought if we start with you, because you're give Canadian context, and then David Gallant is here in the room, is going to talk about a game that he produced while a government employee.
Okay.
And it's Aftermath, and then we'll go to Donna.
Okay, sounds good.
So we'll let you know when seems like the room is full and everybody who's coming's coming.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just gonna go out and check and round people up and see if there's anyone else coming into this one. Okay, so I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for Donna to be connected.
Hi again.
Hello.
Hi, Gordon. I'm Donna.
Hi.
Everyone can hear everyone okay?
Yep, I can hear fine.
Good.
Okay, let's see if this screen works for you. Ready?
We can see the screen, but the text is still really tiny.
Okay, so let me work on that. Does that make it any bigger?
Nope.
No.
Can you hit Control Plus? Oh. Oh, that's the Metro Vancouver.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, okay. Yours
can't
looks
get
great,
full
Gord.
Yeah. I can't get full screen for some reason, but this is the... I have to use I can't go into full screen in PowerPoint. I have to use it within the editing mode, but
Oh, awesome. Okay.
it works.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah. And I have some video I'm going to play, so we'll see how that goes.
Okay. There may be a bit of delay on the audio, just so we know, because it's screen shared
Yeah.
and then...
Is that any better?
From there to them.
Yes.
Okay. So I think I've got an application on there that I'm gonna have to run.
Okay.
Here.
It's, you, if I'm not mistaken, it's the plus key,
Okay.
and then share screens.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just maybe mute the actual video stream so we don't get that nice mirrored effect.
Oh, you're still there, Donna?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. I think whoever screen shares, like, so if Gord screen shares and then Donna screen shares, hers will take precedence.
Sort of like whoever does it last thing.
Yep.
So just let me know when you're ready to take a look at the web page and if this font size is good for you, if you can see better.
We're ready to test that whenever you are.
Okay. Are you seeing it?
We're seeing the web page, but it's still very small.
Okay, let me work on it some more. Hang on.
Yep. That's better.
I didn't do anything.
Well, it changed, unfortunately.
All I did was shrink it so that it wouldn't go off my screen and I couldn't get to the corners of it. Okay. And how's that?
I think that's workable.
You want me to try it a little larger?
What do you guys think in the room? Good? Okay. Yeah. Gord's is fine. And then. All right. I think that's what we'll start off with.
Okay.
Excellent.
Gordon, where are you at?
I'm in Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
Where are you?
Virginia. East coast of the United States, right by Washington, D.C.
Oh yeah. How's the weather out there right now?
Well, I don't want to complain that it's cold because I imagine it's colder where you are. But it's a little
we're-
chilly for me.
How cold is cold for you?
It was 25 degrees when I woke up this morning. Hey, Kathy.
Hey. Good morning.
know
I'm
what-
sorry I got hit outside on the way here, so everything was a little bit slow starting today.
It's all right?
So Gord, have you already started your presentation?
Nope.
Okay, well we're good to go. If you want to lead,
Sure.
Andre, do you want to? I have to check rooms. Can you moderate a little bit if they need any in between? But they can see themselves. You're good to go. It's Gord, David, and then Donna. Or sorry, the other way around. Gord, Donna, and then David. Pardon? Well, just to make sure it flows along, because I've got to check all three rooms. Just because Gord's not in the room. He's sort of the moderator, but he's not in the room. So just in terms of handling people's questions. So Gord, do you want to tell us what's the name of your position at Metro Vancouver, and what's your relationship in terms of getting content on the local community channel?
Okay. Well, should I get into my presentation, or do you want to just quick brief? Well, I'll introduce myself. So
I don't
my
see
name's
where we're
Gordon.
streaming yet. Sorry to interrupt, but I don't see where it's streaming yet. Did you want to make sure that was running?
Okay. Do you want to go see what's going on with room 1 streaming? So you're not seeing anything in conference room 1?
I've got a video stream not currently active on my
Okay.
screen.
Okay, the technician's just working in the room now.
I have confirmation elsewhere that the stream is live.
Let me reload. Okay, I see it now.
Okay, great. You're good to go.
Okay. So is my presentation up right now, or?
No.
No, that's fine.
Do
Yeah, that's
screen
what I
share.
thought.
Where did he do that?
He does it on his end.
Oh, okay.
Just screen share with us again, and it should take over.
You're not seeing anything in conference room 1? I've got a video stream not currently active. Okay, the technician's just working in the room now. Okay, I see it now. Okay, great. You're good to go.
It's very delayed, apparently.
Yeah. Funny.
That's fine.
Are you sharing your screen, Gord?
Yep.
No.
We're not
Do it
seeing.
again, Gord.
Not seeing me?
Do
No.
refresh.
Hang on a sec.
Oh, you know what?
Let me
This
go
is
back.
actually
Give me me see.
That's how to lead the live stream.
Oh, I see. But we should see it here immediately, shouldn't we?
Okay, how about now?
Yes, coming.
Okay, good.
There you go. Way you go.
So you're not seeing the Skype interface. I see that on mine, but you're just seeing my screen right now?
We're just seeing Metro Vancouver Multimedia and then your face in the corner.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So I will begin now. Still good?
Yep. There's only 3 of you. You've got time.
Okay. Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's really early where I am, but I've been awake for a while, so I'm good. I have my coffee. Yeah, my name is Gordon Inglis. I work for Metro Vancouver, which is the regional government out here on the west coast of British Columbia. And my title is the Division Manager of Multimedia. What that means is it's sort of like the creative director for the communications department here. So I actually manage the video production unit, our graphics department, and the web. I'm responsible for those things. But my beginning happened with the production of a community channel television show called, it began with a show called City.Vancouver. So I'm going to go through the history of that, give you a little background in terms of what we do. But before I begin, I just thought I'd quickly run through who we are out here at Metro Vancouver. Our region is home to 2.4 million people, and we're very much a region that's defined by our geography. We have the ocean on the west coast that positions us as a gateway to Asia and North America, so we're very dependent on that, the port and that kind of trade. We have the mountains to the north and the border to the south, which constrain our growth into this area that you see on the satellite image. And we live in really close proximity to relatively untouched wilderness, as well as really highly fertile farmland. And this proximity has influenced our urban planning heavily over the years. And that's very much a core component of what Metro Vancouver, the organization, does. Our organization is a partnership of 21 municipalities, 1 electoral district, and 1 treaty First Nation. So we're extremely based around the notion of collaboration. Our regional district is governed by a board of directors, so each one of these local authorities will send representatives to our board of directors, and then that's the group that directs our policy. So we're not, our politicians aren't elected directly, but they are very much representative of the citizens of the region. And Metro Vancouver as an organization provides services and solutions to these members that are best dealt with on a regional level. So these are the services of drinking water, wastewater treatment, solid waste management. We also regulate air quality, we plan for urban growth, we manage a regional park system, and we provide affordable housing. So we have 3 major roles, which is to deliver core services, to plan for the future through our regional strategies, our planning and regulations, and we're a political forum. So we serve as the main political forum for discussions of significant community issues at the regional level. So we'll do that through conferences, what we call sustainability dialogues. We have all kinds of ways that we reach out to the public to discuss these issues that are facing us. Our video production supports all of these goals through a wide range of products. So we're on the community channel, but we produce a whole array of things that are in support of these goals. And we're involved in developing strategy as well. So we'll work on behavior change campaigns. We're part of designing major engagement initiatives like the Zero Waste Conference that we hold every year. So we're quite involved, not only as just simply following and showing initiatives that are happening at Metro Vancouver, but we're engaged in developing those initiatives as well. Our programming airs on all the community channels in our region. So that's Shaw, Delta, and Novus. And we're also just got picked up by the Sunshine Coast, so that's a little bit out of our region, but they like the programming we're doing, so we're airing there as well. And I have a trailer here that I'll play for you that sort of gives you a little sense of the type of material that we're playing. Here it comes.
Metro Vancouver's award-winning video series highlights topics you may not consider when you think about living in our region. Where are the next million people in our region going to live? How do you bore a water tunnel under Grass Mountain? How is using fiber linked to generating electricity? Can you use light to disinfect drinking water? Plus, you'll never guess what we found in your garbage.
Did that video play okay?
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad? Okay. Gives you the idea, anyways. So, we do a lot of stuff, but we began quite a long time ago in 1999, way back, as a pilot project with the city of Vancouver. And I was hired to develop a pilot for a show that we called City.Vancouver at that time, and then it evolved into a show called GVTV. The pilot was successful, and in our second season, Metro Vancouver came on board. They were called the GVRD at that time, and we began to share resources to produce a variety of cable shows. So over the years, it kind of changed as the cable providers' commitment to community programming changed, but it stabilized as the sustainable region. But it began as City.Vancouver in that initial phase. Interestingly, we were, at that time, in 1999, we actually partnered with SFU and had an online streaming video presence with sort of rich media associated with it. It was quite an interesting experiment, but I don't think anyone in the city had broadband at the time, so we had a pretty limited audience, but way ahead of our time. Of course, now we're all over the world. We initially were a partnership with the city of Vancouver. They shared resources to produce the cable show, so the city gave us some office space. Metro Vancouver contributed 2/3 of the funding, and we began as a typical community channel access provider. We were completely dependent on the equipment that Rogers had at that time. It was Rogers, and then it became Shaw. So we were completely dependent on their equipment and their studios. But that was when Final Cut Pro was being launched, and we, as soon as Final Cut Pro 1 was out, we jumped on board that and started to develop our own capacity. And this was a decision that was based partly on efficiency. It just made a lot of sense that we weren't dependent on their equipment, but it was also an awareness that the community channel was changing and access was becoming less and less. And we wanted to protect our ability to produce not only the volume, but the quality of the material we wish to. And we knew that building our own capacity was the way to do that. In 2004, we launched the show, The Sustainable Region. And as we evolved, we became more and more involved in producing other materials for both the city of Vancouver and Metro Vancouver. And our evolution happened at the same time as video as a communications tool was just becoming more and more the way that organizations would communicate to their public, and so we became very much a key component of our communications efforts. I can give you a little taste of one of our shows, just to give you a sense of what we're talking about.
Yeah, we don't really have your audio, Gord, but we can see the pictures.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'll stop then. Anyways, this is an ad, or not an ad. This was actually a item that we produced to promote an initiative of ours that was aimed at reducing food waste in the home. The audio is really great, so you'll have to imagine how great it was. And that's one of the types of things that we would air on our show, The Sustainable Region. The Sustainable Region, in 2010, our partnership with the City of Vancouver came to an end, and Metro Vancouver brought us in-house. And that's when we were created as an official division within the organization Metro Vancouver, and I became salaried staff as opposed to a contractor, and we became much more firmly embedded within what was going on at Metro Vancouver. We continue to produce the Sustainable Region for air on the community channel and distribution through a bunch of platforms online. So our core programming remains the Sustainable Region, and that focuses on Metro Vancouver initiatives, and it's a way to inform the public about major projects, give background on decision making, and explain our management plans. We make stories about utilities and regional planning that hopefully connects with people's lives. Our host there is Vanessa Timmer. She's one of the founders of the One Earth Foundation, and it's been a pretty successful show so far. We've also started to do another show called Metro Vancouver Close Up, which focuses more on our member municipalities. The goal here is to look at how local governments are meeting the challenge of sustainability in their municipalities. So the community channel as a whole doesn't really have anybody dedicated to doing that. So we're kind of taking on that role. And again, we're using our resources to produce material for our member municipalities. So we work with our members to identify stories. We create a 5-minute package of these sort of shorter news style stories, and then we provide those to the community channel as part of our half-hour slot, but also as standalone items that they could use throughout their broadcast day. If I don't have audio, maybe I won't play this clip, because I'll just play a few seconds of it. You can sort of see what the look is like.
Yeah, we can hear audio better this time. Kind of muted. Yeah, we can't actually hear her voice. I think we get the idea of the style, though.
Okay. Okay, I'll skip that. So, as I said, it's kind of a news style, shorter stories, looking at a variety of issues again for our member municipalities. And then we're really big on recycling in Metro Vancouver, so we'll take all of those materials and package them up for presentations. So we'll give them to engineers to take out to the public. We use our materials and put them into ad campaigns. We just use them in a whole variety of ways. So conferences and forums, for example, those materials will end up at a conference and a forum, but then we'll live stream the conference so that we can increase the participation. We'll package that conference up and then air it on the community channel, so then that even furthers the audience. We have many campaigns that are coordinated across multiple media platforms. This particular campaign I'm showing here is our Reducing Waste at Christmas campaign called Create Memories, Not Garbage. We do very extensive ad buy on television, print media, on TransLink, which is our version of the subway. So it's quite a large campaign, and one of the ways that it's cost effective for us to do that is because we're creating these commercials in-house and then only buying the ad time, but we also will air it on the community channel, and we've been able to get public service announcements, sort of that designation on the community channel, which makes it go a lot further. So we get really good bang for our buck.
Gord, because we started a bit late, there's only 3 of you, but we should probably move on just so there's
Move on.
time to give everybody a chance to ask some questions.
Sure.
Donna, are you still there?
I am.
Great.
Just Kathy,
Yep.
if I could wrap up, then I'll skip past all this stuff that we do, but I just wanted to end by saying that one of the things that we found over time is that the community channel audience has been decreasing significantly. Obviously, there's been huge change in the way that people are consuming media, but audience numbers aren't really the primary way to determine the value of an audience from our perspective. So we are very much about informing our public and creating informed debate, but the audience value is not just based on size. Sometimes it is, but it's also based on who is there. Are these the influencers? Are these the people that are actively engaged in their communities? So it could be a pretty small audience that is watching our show, but a highly influential one. And I think that's a really important point that people need to keep in mind when we talk about the community channel. And the other thing I think is just really important is that we really need to look at these issues as local examples, because issues like climate change are meaningful when it applies to people's lives where they live. And that's very much what we're about. Thanks.
Okay, thanks very much. So one of the reasons we wanted to have this panel is because there's a difference historically in the way municipal governments can get content on the community channel. In Canada, there's never been the ability, in fact, it's specifically forbidden that a municipal government, a local government, can have a license, a broadcasting license. But it's different to the way it's handled in the United States. The United States has always had 3 different types of what we would call a community channel. They're called public access licenses. There's a out-and-out sort of public access for citizens. There's educational access, whereby colleges, schools, primary, secondary, post-secondary institutions can hold local community licenses, as well as local governments can hold licenses. So whereas in Canada, local governments, as Gord was describing, municipal council coverage has been a staple of the community channel over the years as a tool of open governance. And there used to be, back in the day, lots of, like I remember when I worked in Calgary, that Diana Blonsey used to have a Dial Your MP program every week where people could call in directly and ask her what was going on in Ottawa. There was little windows on the community channel, but they didn't have the capacity to program a whole channel and plan a programming strategy like Gord is describing. So what we wanted to do was invite someone from south of the border that works at one of these exclusive government access channels, because I've gone to conferences in the US over the years where there's an entire stream, like you'd come to a conference like this about community television, and there's a whole separate stream for government access programmers, and it's very specialized programming to address the needs for local governments to communicate with their residents. And so we've invited Donna from Fairfax County, Virginia, to join us and to show a little bit of what they have developed on their web platform, and also is broadcast over the cable system in Fairfax County. So over to you, Donna.
Okay. Let's see. Do I need to do anything to get on here?
For some reason, we've just got a still of you. I think maybe
Oh.
you
I've
have to
turned
respond with video, I think.
No, I've turned myself off. Okay,
There we go.
here go. Okay. And let me get my screen going here too. Okay. So thank you for inviting me, Kathy. It's a pleasure to be able to talk to everybody today. I wanted to give you just a little bit of background about Fairfax County. as Gordon did for his area. So Fairfax County is located in Virginia. It's on the east coast of the United States. We're about 18 miles west of the capital, Washington, D.C., so a very big and bustling area. Fairfax County itself is a rather large area as well, 406 square miles. We have a population of 1.1 million and an annual budget of about $3.8 million. We're larger than many of the U.S. states, and Fairfax County is certainly one of the largest areas in Virginia. So Fairfax County is served by 3 different cable providers. Verizon and Cox Communications serve the entire county population. And then, except for a small area of 17 square miles called the town of Reston, and that's served by Comcast. So we actually Fairfax County manages 3 different cable franchise agreements. But through those agreements, the cable companies fund what Kathy was talking about, the 3 access stations, the PEGs, the public, the education, and the government. So our funding comes from the cable franchise agreements. However, they do not influence our content. In fact, they have absolutely nothing to do with the production. They are the providers in the county, and they provide for our funding. So Channel 16 operates just for Fairfax County government. We have an annual operating budget of $2.15 million. We also get an annual capital grant of $450,000 for capital infrastructure. Out of that budget, we have our staff, which includes 5 full-time producers, 5 assistant producers, 5 camera operators. I have a senior engineer, a production manager, and a smattering of freelance people who support our staff as needed. As far as our station goes, we also started quite some time ago in 1990, late 1980s, early 1990s, with a pretty small group. We had 3 people at the time and 1 field camera. Today, 31 years later, we have a full-size studio with 4 cameras, a virtual set. We have 3 field cameras, 5 post-production suites, 2 graphics rooms, and also a production vehicle so we can produce things on site. We televise the Board of Supervisors meetings, the Planning Commission meetings, and the Board of Zoning Appeals meetings. And again, this is what Kathy was talking about with this transparent government and giving people who are residents of the county and businesses in the county an opportunity to see for themselves, unedited, what's going on at the government level, things that are happening that affect their day-to-day lives, legislation, land use decisions. And so it supports the board's goal of having an open and transparent government. But in addition to working the meetings, we also produce programs for all of the agencies in the county. So the Fire and Rescue Department, Police Department, and I'll show you a little bit of that now. So we produce about 900 hours of original programming every year. Channel 16 reaches about 804,000 residents via cable television, and we reach an even larger audience through our video on demand and live streaming. So this is our live streaming page. So everything that goes on Channel 16 also gets live streamed. We'll see what's on right now. I believe it's one of our more popular shows, which is Senior Yoga. So this is a show that we produce in cooperation with the Area Agency on Aging, and it's seniors and showing them some yoga.
Now bring that hand back to the side, check.
Okay, so that's our live stream. So anything that's on the channel is streamed at the same time. We also have our Board of Supervisors meetings. We use a company called Granicus to help us with the video archiving on this, but if you click on the board meeting, you'll see these are all of the board meetings that go back to 2012 when we started doing this. And people can come to the website, click on the link for that for that particular meeting, and the meeting will play in this window here, but in addition it's a linked agenda so that if somebody wants to go and see a particular item that happened that day and find out what happened in that, they can click on it and it will jump right to that part of the meeting.
To assign, prioritize, review, and consider for approval or implementation the recommendation.
We don't have a picture of that, Donna. We're just seeing that list.
Okay, it was just maybe just behind. But so if you click on it, you'll see the meeting in a video on demand window, but there's also a linked agenda. So people who are interested in a particular item don't have to watch all 8-10 hours of the meeting. They can click right on the agenda item and see what it is that they want to find out about. Sorry that didn't work for you. Okay, so these are some of our other programs that I just wanted to share with you. These are our spotlight programs for the month, so these are the new things that we've done that we want to highlight. County Magazine is our monthly program that we do that just highlights things that are going on in the county that month. And so this is one of the unique programs for us in that it uses multiple agencies. So we have something here from the animal shelter, discovering what foods are dangerous to your pets and talking about wildlife in the area. We have a section that we do with the libraries on the Virginia Room, which is a library specifically of historic documents and photos. So this is one of our shows that uses multiple agencies to interact with. Tips and Tales is particularly about the animal shelter. We work with the animal shelter, and it's a program particularly about pets. Mature Living is a show that we do again with the Area Agency on Aging, and it's about topics that are of particular interest to seniors. Planning Commission Roundtable is a talk show with the chairman of the Planning Commission, and it talks about land use decisions that are being made. And then this down here is a listing of all of the shows that we do by subject area. So we have the Board of Supervisors here at the top, and not only do we do the board meetings, but we also do programs with the individual supervisors where they can come into our studio, or we go out into the field, say they do a town meeting, and we can televise programs that are of interest to that particular jurisdiction. So Mason Matters, for instance, is a show that we do with Supervisor Penny Gross. She's the supervisor of the Mason District. She comes into our channel once a month and tapes 2 half-hour-long talk shows about issues in her area. So let's click on this and see if we have better luck here.
We can see it.
So the way these work is one of our producers works with her chief of staff, and they talk about what the program is going to be. They give us the content, they give us the name of the guests. We make all the technical arrangements for them, call the guests, let them know what to wear, what time they need to be there. Her staff develops the questions, and then on the day of the taping, they come in, we have everything set up, and we tape for a half hour straight. There's no editing involved in these, but it's a great way for these supervisors to be able to talk to their constituents directly.
Supervisor Penny Gross. Welcome to Mason Matters, the television show to bring you news and information about our Mason District community. There are many ways to provide assistance to those.
We can hear her.
You can?
Yep. No, we got the idea with that one. That was great.
I'm just going to show you what our studio looks like here.
We can provide them some.
So she has guests come in and chat with her.
Don't recognize.
It's a half hour. She does 2 shows. She tapes 2 shows at once, but we have a new show on for her every week. Okay, we've got some consumer protection issues, so shows on bed bugs. Your Community, You're Connected is a little different in that it's a call-in program. So we publicize a phone number, we publicize a web email address, and we publicize a Twitter address so that people can call in and ask questions. This particular show is about community associations. So we have a panel of experts, and people can basically call in for free advice. It's a very popular show. We've been doing it for over 10 years now. We have lawyers and community managers on set, and
Good evening, I'm Carolyn Clavano.
it's an hour long, and we do it every other month.
Program about homeowner and condominium association issues.
Okay, I'll try and move it along here. We've got a whole list of shows just on emergency issues, hurricane preparedness. Did I lose you, or are you all there?
No, we're here.
Okay, it got very quiet.
What's really interesting for us, I think, at this end is the variety and the specificity of the programming that you can do as a whole channel committed to or devoted to government communications. It's amazing.
It's really a unique opportunity to be able to reach the audience and talk to them about the services that their government is providing them. So they pay their taxes, and here's what you get for it. Here are all the different things. And so the way we do our programs is we have the 5 producers that I talked about, and they have agencies that that are their clients. And so once a month, our producers contact the agencies and they say, do you have anything going on? Any communication needs that you have that you want to let the residents know about? Do you have a new program coming up? So for instance, we just started the ability to text to 911. a very big public campaign that the county put on. We did the video component of that to let people know how to use it, when you would use it. And so our producers call the agencies once a month, call the public information officers of those agencies, and the two of them work together to decide, do you have a communication need? What's the best type of program we can do for that? Is it a public service announcement? Is it a magazine segment? Is it a talk show? Do you have an event going on somewhere that we should take our remote truck out to? So whatever communication need they have, we're there to support it. We have, obviously, capacity. There's only so much you can do, and so we try to prioritize based on a system that we came up with a very long time ago that we used to use exclusively. So when we first started out, we had a communications group that would meet once a year. Agencies would send in their requests for productions, and those requests were reviewed and prioritized. So Board of Supervisors came first, Public Safety came second, everybody else came third. And the producers would get a year's worth of programming assignments, and then they would go and do them. We try to be more flexible now. That system has kind of gone away as we've developed trust with the agencies and trust with the Board of Supervisors that we are also county employees. We are there to inform residents just like they are. And the system has become a lot more fluid. So now we do these monthly calls, and we work directly with the public information officers with no committee in the middle to produce programs as they're needed. The one issue that I want to make sure I mention, I know we're running a little bit out of time here, but there's no cost to the agencies. All of our costs are covered by the cable franchise fees that we get from the cable providers. And so agencies can come to us and for free create television, which anyone in television knows how expensive it is. So it's a real bonus to these agencies to be able to have us do this for them. And the way we budget them is not by money, but by production hours. So if somebody comes to us and they say, we need a public service announcement on texting 911, we'll say, okay, that's 50 hours. Somebody comes to us and they say, we want to do a magazine segment on pop-up trash. Okay, well, we're going to assign that 150 hours. And so each of the show types has a certain number of hours, and that's how we decide how much we can do and how we're going to assign each team. So we assign in quarters, and each team has 1,500 hours worth of production capacity that they can do. So at the beginning of every quarter, we have a list of what we're going to do. We send it out to the producers, and then they work directly with the public information officers to produce these programs. And Kathy, I think I'm going to wrap it up right there and be happy to answer any questions later if anyone has them.
Okay, thanks very much. So we'll go to our, that was great overview. That's, as I said, it was such an eye-opener the first time I went to a U.S. Conference for the Alliance for Community Media, which is the equivalent of Cactus in the U.S., just that there was this entire stream of specialized methodology around government programming, another local government programming, another whole methodology around educational programming, and then a third methodology all around what you call public access programming and we call community TV programming up here, which is all sort of under one umbrella. So I just wanted to, you guys won an award for this website and your approach, did you not? We were wanting to bring to Canada a great example, and your channel was recommended to us.
So we have won, we participate in the Alliance for Community Media and also the National Association of Telecommunication Officers and Advisors, very long title. But yeah, we've won several awards for our programs and overall excellence awards for the breadth of our programs. I think about 13 out of the last 15 years.
Yeah, terrific.
So very proud of that, and very proud of all the work of our staff. We have a really great group that are really committed to community programming.
Okay, well, thank you very much for sharing with us, and I'm sure people will have questions for you. Our third speaker this morning will seem a different category to Gord and Donna. We had this, the idea that we wanted to focus on local government programming. And we also had the idea for the conference that all of our panels, we wanted to try to look at common themes from the point of view of different community media. So many of the panels you were on yesterday, probably you noticed if we were talking about volunteering or another topic, we would have a television person, a radio person, an online person, and a gamer, wherever it was appropriate to the topic. So to round this one out, it had come to our attention through our advisor from the gaming sector in putting together the conference that there was this interesting example of someone who had created a video game while he was working actually for Revenue Canada. So not a local government, but a government. and what happened with that game and his relationship with his employer. And I felt it was tied in because, as I mentioned it earlier, because in Canada we don't, at the moment, local governments can't have a broadcast license. It raises an interesting issue around media literacy and how we view local governments and their right to have direct communication with residents. And, what happens with one of their employees, doesn't agree with their line, or they think that their employee is not in agreement with their line. So it just raises media literacy questions around local government programming that I think are important for us to review, because our country has taken a different route in terms of whether we want to license local governments to be able to produce content. So no further ado, David, and we just want to make sure we can see you now.
Yep, yeah, turn on the video. That's the that one, yeah.
And then we want to shrink off Donna's for now. Can you grab, yeah, to make her large
That's
again.
okay. What I was actually going to do is screen share the application I've got open.
Okay.
Sorry about this, folks. It'll just be a second. Oh, we got Donna in her own window there. Share screen. Okay, we might get some interesting echoing effect there. Donna, can you see what we're showing here?
I sure can.
Okay, I'm not sure if you're going to get audio, so I do apologize if you can't hear this. This is primarily an audio-driven experience. My name is David S. Gallant. I made a thing called I Get This Call Every Day. It's what you're seeing in front of you in glorious graphical fidelity. So this is a digital experience I created back in 2013. A lot of people will refer to it as a video game, although if you listen to a lot of people online, whether or not it's actually a game is debatable. And it's a reflection of my experience working in a call center. It wasn't intended to directly reference my experience working for the Canada Revenue Agency, but as it was my call center job at that time for 3 years, and it was a job I was very frustrated with, which is what inspired me to make the experience in the first place. It's the similarities to that job are obvious. Obviously, asking for a social insurance number right off the bat is kind of a giveaway that something you're doing is involved in the government. I'm just going to play a little bit here just to give you an idea of what the experience is like.
How can I help you?
Yeah. Hi, I need to change my address.
Can I get your SIN, please?
My what?
Your social insurance number.
That's private. Why should I give that to you?
Well, I need it to look up your account.
I'm only changing my address.
Yes, but in order to do that, I need to pull up your account.
It's 111-22211.
Thank you. Nope.
What do you mean, nope?
I mean, nope, that's not your SIN.
I'm pretty sure I know my own SIN number, buddy.
I'm not your buddy, sir.
Excuse me?
Nothing.
Listen, I pay my taxes, and I don't have to put up with this fucking shit. I want to speak to your manager now.
Okay, sure. I just need to put you on hold while I see if my supervisor's available. Shit.
Sorry, I probably should have warned about the strong language before that began. So that's just one of the possible outcomes of playing I Get This Call Every Day. I wanted to show that particular experience first because it sort of mirrors, in a way, what happened with me. I describe I Get This Call Every Day as a personal tale of unwinnable realities, which means that it's a situation for which there's no good outcome. There actually isn't a way to win the game. There are ways to not get fired and lose your job, but there's no way to actually satisfy the request that the person is calling in for, which is to change their address. It mirrors, quite literally, a call I got every day as a member of the Canada Revenue Agency. A specific situation where a person would not be prepared to answer the labyrinthine security questions, and it was expressing my frustrations both at the type of people I was dealing with, but also at the layers of bureaucracy that dehumanized people as they would, attempt to deal with what to them seems like very simple things. Just going to go through it one more time just to show another outcome here. And I would like to point out, this is the first time that this game is actually being translated. I noticed the translation booth. This game has existed only in English prior because, unfortunately, it is the language that I speak, and I don't have the means of localizing it in a way that would satisfy me. A lot of the game is audio-based, and I feel that without conveying the correct tone, you don't get the right experience from it. So the fact that it's being translated, my apologies to the translator for having to do this kind of work, but this is kind of exciting for me.
Hello, General Inquiries. My name is David. How can I help you today?
Yeah. Hi, I need to change my address.
Sure thing. Now, in order to change your address, I just need to ask some brief security questions. Can I start by getting your social insurance number, please?
It's 111-22211.
Thank you. I'm afraid that's not a valid social insurance number. Could you double check the number, please?
Fine, let me
It's
get my...
audio-based, and I feel that without conveying the correct
It's
tone,
111-22233.
Sorry, Donnie, can you mute your audio?
I'm listening to the audio live stream. It's okay, I'm a little behind, but I'm good.
Okay, no, but the audio, your audio is coming back through your microphone. If you just mute your microphone in Skype, that would be perfect. Perfect, thank you.
Can I have your full name?
Bill.
I'm sorry, is that your full name?
Yes?
I need your first and your last name.
Well, why didn't you say so? My full name is Billy Swarth.
I'm sorry, that still doesn't match. Do you have a middle name or an initial?
It's Billy J. Swarth. Jeez.
Can I have your date of birth, please?
November 10th.
Thank you. Can I have the address that's currently on your file?
1137 East 25th Avenue.
What city and province is that?
Alberta.
What city in Alberta?
Calgary.
I'm sorry, that doesn't match the address that we currently have on file. Is that your new address?
Yes, you said you wanted the current address.
Okay, I'm actually looking for the address that we have on your file. It's probably your last address.
Is it in Coquitlam?
Yes, it is.
Is it the one on Birch Street?
Yes. Please bear with me, sir. I'm experiencing a bit of technical difficulty. I just have to place you on a very brief hold. Shit.
So that was the other end of things. You saw an example where the caller, Billy, got angry and the agent supervisor terminated them for escalating the call. That was the other example where if you try to help them through those security questions, it also results in a termination, which was inspired by the very strict rules around confidentiality that Canada Revenue Agency expected agents to uphold at all times. And again, I understand why those things exist. I mean, obviously, people's information need to be protected, but at the same time, it can be a very strange experience for someone who's never really had to deal with that kind of thing. And it was wearing down on me having to deal with people not understanding that experience, and thus, it became a dehumanizing experience for myself, which is why I ended up making I Get This Call Every Day. So the response to I Get This Call Every Day was kind of why the reason I'm here, because had January 2013 never happened, then perhaps I wouldn't even be here talking about this. I Get This Call Every Day could just be in obscurity, and no one would ever really understand why I would be here. In January of 2013, I was contacted by the Toronto Star. This was approximately a month after the game was released, and I did a brief interview over the phone with them. Their article the next day hit the front page of their website, identified me as a member of the Canada Revenue Agency, though I hadn't actually confirmed that I did work for the agency, and spun the game as an angry rant against taxpayers, and in the process asked the current finance minister for her comment. By the end of the day, I was terminated from my job at Canada Revenue Agency in to me, a very, what's the word? Whirlwind? I was in newspapers. I was on CBC. I was on the radio. It was a very high-profile activity, and it was a very surreal time in my life where I created something, and then within a month, I was terminated from my job because they didn't like what it said. The irony is that those who made the decision to terminate my job never actually played the game. They were more concerned with its representation in the media, the fact that it was identified as being made by an employee of the Canada Revenue Agency, that it was portrayed by the Toronto Star as an angry rant against taxpayers, that they could find people talking about the game on my website describing call centers as a soul-sucking job. These all were in their decision to terminate me from that position, not necessarily what was represented in the game itself, which, to be honest, I kind of hoped someone in Canada Revenue Agency would experience and maybe use that experience to make changes to the way employees like myself and callers, like people like Billy and stuff like that, change the way that their experiences went to maybe prevent situations like represented in I Get This Call Every Day. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what else to say. It's a weird intersection of government and video games.
Thanks very much for sharing,
So, well, you're kind of looking at the end of the story. Basically, when the game exploded in the media, I made a lot of money. Games, it's a game that I sold for $2 from my website, and I had made about, to date, I've made about $20,000 off it. First thing I've ever made and sold for profit, and it kind of went gangbusters. So I paid for my rent for a few months, and then just left me without a job for 2.5 years, which wasn't the most fun experience in the world. I'm now back to work, just at a normal retail job, and still making things, still working on it. There's actually an improved version of the experience coming to Steam, platform that a lot of video games get to, and so I've basically just been working on that. I didn't pursue any sort of wrongful dismissal. I tried to see what the union would do, because CRA did actually break their rules in how they went about terminating me. But the union would only assist me if I were fighting for my job back. And after that experience, there was no way I was going back. I wouldn't be surprised. And honestly, I wouldn't even want to sue the federal government. I'm not about to extort taxpayer money out of the Canada Revenue Agency. I am a taxpayer, and the last thing I would want to do is try to create that kind of cost for a situation where even I acknowledge that I broke the rules that I had agreed to when I got the job. So.
Thanks very much, David. Is there any other questions for? So if you're wondering again, how does this relate? I just thought it opened up this interesting box, and it's something I haven't pursued to find out, why in Canada we have a rule that municipal governments can't hold licenses. We do have provincial educational channels. We do have the CBC, although it's arm's length from government. But I just thought it opened up an interesting question for us. Clearly, there's a lot of value in the platform that Donna described to us. There's this huge range and richness of programming available to residents of Fairfax County about what their government is doing, making the government, hopefully more open and transparent. All those meetings are on the record. Gord's doing a similar thing to the extent that he can in Vancouver, although they don't control the platform. They have a window to air on Shaw Cable. It's just to open up the debate in Canada about what's our relationship when governments genuinely want to have communication directly with residents. Are we scared to give them licenses because we think they're going to abuse them? What's that all about, and where do we want to go going forward in terms of, future abilities of our local governments to have licenses? So that's why we put this one on the agenda. Does anybody have questions for? And clearly, this particular government agency was nervous. So it just opens up that can of worms. So does anyone have questions for Donna or for Gord or for David? Gord, are you still there? Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yep.
David, I'm not clear what the game is like, and why was the government so upset with you about the game? Because I don't understand the game.
I mean, the game is really, all you're doing is choosing choices to guide a conversation. Like, this little box down here just pops up with, what choice to make in terms of what to say next to the person. And your responses then dictate how that that conversation proceeds. You can either try to proceed according to the rules, which are never given to you, so you kind of have to figure them out as you go along, unless you're someone like me who's familiar with working in a call center. Or, respond to the caller's anger, which gets you fired, or join in their frustration with the rules and try and ease them through it, which gets you fired. If you don't succumb to those and you do follow all the rules, ultimately the person just can't answer enough questions to get through the call and pass security. The reason why they terminated me wasn't even due to the game itself. Like I said, they never actually played it. I gave them the opportunity to. I even let them download a file of the game, and they literally said they could not open it. All of it came down to the fact, and specifically when you become a public servant, you agree to limit your expression a certain amount. And it's not something that's secret. It's not something that's unwritten. They're very forward in letting you know that as a public servant, you do represent the government, and thus your representation of the government has to match a certain profile. Certain expressions, if they could be construed as representing Canada Revenue Agency, have to be approved by management first. And I knew that something like I Get This Call Every Day would require that. And I didn't submit it. I knew that if I did show them I Get This Call Every Day and asked for their approval before releasing it, they would say no. And when they questioned me about that, the day that they terminated me, that's exactly what I told them. So, I mean, it was the truth, and obviously it's, it's my responsibility in that regard, but that was primarily why I was terminated.
Any questions for Gord or David or Donna?
Yeah, I had a question for Gord. You mentioned that very important point of measuring social impact beyond audience size. And I know there's been some really good work in that area among the World Association of Community Radio. And have you done any work with researchers to develop some of those alternative measures? Because it is an important point for all community media.
Yeah, that's a really difficult one for us. We generally will look at specific campaigns and then try to assess the impact of those campaigns. And we'll do that through surveys, phone surveys generally, or online surveys. But we're actually engaged in a project right now, which is kind of interesting, where we have a problem with disposable wipes. People are flushing those down the toilet. They're causing a lot of havoc within our sewage system. They make these incredibly gross clogs called fatbergs, and people have to go in and manually pull these things out by hand. So we are doing a test project where we have a sewage station that we're able to actually count the number of wipes that are going through it from this small geographical area, and then we're doing our campaign in that area with YouTube pre-roll and some print media ads as well. And then we're counting the number of wipes and seeing if we can actually see a direct correlation between our ad campaign and the number of wipes that are going through the station. So this is one of the rare examples where we have a pretty nicely controlled environment where we can measure something physically. We do our waste campaign every year, but it's really hard to actually look at our waste numbers and say they went down because of the campaign, because there's so many factors involved in those things. But surveys is our primary way to measure the effectiveness.
Other questions?
Yes, Donna, I was interested in your relationship with the public library system in developing programs. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure, that was actually my client before I became the director of the station. I worked with the libraries directly. So the libraries have a public information officer, and in speaking with her, when I first became a producer and was assigned to work with the library, we wanted to talk to them about what their goals were and what need did they have. And they really saw a drop in reading. So they saw people coming to the library for a lot of different things, for using the computers, for doing research, but they saw a drop in readership, and they wanted to remind people that the library was also a place that they could check out books. And so we developed a show where we talk about different subjects. So we did a person, a place, and a general subject matter, and then also a children's either author or subject. And we did a 15-minute show just about books. So maybe we talked about President Lincoln, and in creating a 3 to 5 minute little biography on President Lincoln, we would mention books about him. And then for the children's program, maybe we would feature a children's author and show kids different books that that author did. And so we did the show every 3 months, and they keep all of those shows archived on their website so people can go, if they're interested in a subject, they can see 8 to 10 books within one segment on a subject that they're interested in.
And Gordon, I know the Vancouver Public Library has just set up a new, I believe it's an innovation center or media lab, anyway, with sound studios and editing software and training going on there. Have you had an opportunity to connect with them with that program, or is that something that's in a separate silo at this stage?
Yeah, that would be the city of Vancouver, and we're Metro Vancouver, so we're the regional government. So I'm aware of it, but no, we haven't had any interaction with them on that. It sounds like a great idea, though.
My name is André. I'm from a French-Canadian TV just south shore of Montreal. I just want to be sure that I understand what you are. Metro Vancouver is kind of all the city around Vancouver?
Yes, that's right. It's 21 local municipalities, Treaty First Nation, the Tawasin Nation, and an electoral district.
Okay.
So we represent about 2.4 million people in that greater Vancouver area.
Okay. So, and you call you a community TV, but you don't have a license for that. Are you paid by Metro Vancouver?
Yeah, so we use the community channel as a means of distribution of our television show, but we don't. Other than that, we don't use the community channel resources at all. We're funded by our member municipalities.
So they're equivalent to a TVC in Quebec. There's somebody that uses airtime on a cable community channel.
Okay, and the cable give you some formation or?
Training, he means? Does the cable company give your staff training, Gord, he wants to know?
No. We're all professional videographers, so we have a core staff of 4 people, and then we hire a range of freelancers. So we don't have camera operators, for example, on staff. We have, a producer, a couple of editors, okay. And then we hire most of our
it's some freelance director help you for that.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. We have time for maybe one more question because
it's 5 minutes.
Yep. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. This is, good morning. This is for Donna. Can you hear it?
Yes. Is the button, you can hear it? The button's on? Okay.
Yep. So I'm part of an organization, Toronto Community Media Network, and we're looking to approach the municipal government, the City of Toronto, to be part of our network in terms of being a client. I was wondering how you measure the effectiveness of your programming. So how are you able to justify yourselves?
So I think what Gordon was talking about earlier is he's absolutely right. It's a very hard thing to do. With cable television, you don't have the traditional methods of viewership recordings that you do with broadcast stations. And in fact, doing something like that is really cost prohibitive. And so we have to kind of look at what's the value of spending that kind of money to do a formal and what we would know as some broadcast viewership surveys. So what we have is we use our video on demand page and our clicks on those videos to show viewership. And so when we go to something like the yoga piece that you saw at the very beginning, that gets about 3,500 hits in a 3-month period. And a show that we did on a new tax portal. So on the website, you can go to this new portal in order to check on your taxes to see if they received them, if you've paid them, and that got about 3,200 hits. So that is the way getting these views is a very easy and no cost way of seeing seeing the number of people that are watching the videos that we produce. And we just sort of take that and interpolate that to viewership on the channel. But really, because that's one of our 2 modes, we go out on the channel and we also go out on video stream. Producing the programs for the agencies is what's important. And if it's getting to viewers, whether it's on the channel or whether it's on the web, we're still getting to people, and we can show some numbers there. And so that's what we use right now.
We have it scheduled, although we started behind today, and I apologize. I had a fender bender outside, so in addition to some technical problems, we were slow getting started. But we have a 10:45 video link scheduled in this room with Laval University. Dwayne Winsek from Carleton is going to be chairing a panel with Florian Sauvageau from Laval. So we're going to have to wind this one up, but it's great. We got a chance to have questions with everybody. David wanted me to flag that we're going to download his game if you'd like to try playing it and figure out what the rule structure is and what he's trying to do with it. This ties into what we were talking about yesterday on the gaming panel, that games do represent a new medium and that the rule structure you're working within is communicating a message about reality. And I think that's what, from my listening to, that's what David was trying to express, that there was no way to win that particular game. And that became his message. So there's video, graphics, and audio in there, but there's also a rules-based structure that's telling you something. So we're going to download that onto the laptops outside. I'm going to get out of the way now and let Alex take over and just to get the link going with Laval. There's coffee and snacks outside, but this session will be starting again almost immediately so that we can catch up some time. So thanks very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.
Very informative and useful for me.
Good morning. Can you guys hear us?
Yes, good morning. Good morning.
Awesome.
Do you see us?
Yes, we can. You seem a little quiet, though, but I'll try just turning up the house audio. We apologize. We're running a little bit behind, but everything should be good to go from here on out.
Thank you. Pourquoi ça c'est